Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening lesson here on our YouTube. As usual, we're going to carry on with selected excerpts. Now, today we're going to finish this topic, crowning the king over us. And if we have time, we'll move on to something new. If not, we'll finish it off. And next week, we will be starting preparation for the February Congress. And also, as you know, on the 29th of December, we have a Unity Day. So if you can pop over and also take part, that will be great. In the interim, if you're new to the YouTube channel, I recommend to go over the semester 1, 2, 3 materials, which will give you an overview and a basis of the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you're interested, you can go to Kabbalah.info and join the KABU Academy and study the wisdom of Kabbalah with like-minded people in your local area. In the interim, let's carry on with excerpt number 13. This is from RABASH, article number 5, concerning respecting the father. Okay, so as usual, we'll read twice. And if you have any questions, shoot them through as usual. We'll try to answer them. We'll try to get answers from the material actually as best we can. Once again, excerpt number 13, crowning the king over us. Rabash's article number 5, concerning respecting the father. All our gain is that we are rewarded with serving the Creator. This is very important because it is true, meaning that he will be rewarded with clinging to the King of Kings. But when all the pleasures he has are built on taking every delight and pleasure into serving himself, and receiving pleasure in clothes of reception pertains to animals and not necessarily to humans, the highest of all creatures, so he enjoys the same dresses that animals enjoy. This is unbecoming of him. Rather, all the dresses where man wants to receive pleasure should be garments of vessels of bestowal. That is, it is impossible to work without pleasure, but he measures his pleasures in how much he can bestow upon the king. That is, if he wishes to know how much work he receives from his work, he should not measure how much he enjoys his work, meaning how much pleasure he derives from serving the king. Rather, he should measure by actions, meaning how much he wants the king to enjoy his work. It follows that all of his importance is in that he is serving the king. Rightio. Let's take another round. All our gain is that we are rewarded with serving the Creator. Okay, once again, this is a level of attainment. So serving the Creator means I'm at a really high level in terms of perceiving the Creator, in terms of actually perceiving reality in a whole different exalted manner. So serving the Creator may sound a little weird, but actually, if you think about it, all our life, what are we serving? We're serving our desire to receive. Okay, so all day I serve my desire to receive. So this is the same as serving anyway. But if we elevate ourselves, like it writes here, from an animal level to a human level, then we should be serving another attribute, not to receive for ourselves, but to bestow, because bestowal is wholeness, it's completeness, it's serenity, it's the sensation that you don't feel that you lack anything. So this completeness is what a man should attain, and that's what serving the Creator really means, to bestow like the Creator is bestowing. This is very important because it's true, meaning that he will be rewarded with clinging to the King of Kings. So clinging on to the Creator obviously means that I am at the same level of approach to reality, let's say. Okay, the Creator is always the Creator. The created being is always the created being. So they're two different forces in reality. But they both work in order to bestow, despite the fact that we are reception and the Creator is bestowal. But the way we intend on our work is bestowing all the time. But when all the pleasures he has are built on taking every delight and pleasure into serving himself, and receiving pleasure in clothes of reception pertains to animals and not necessarily humans, the highest of all creatures. So he enjoys the same dresses that animals enjoy, and this is unbecoming of him. So, as you can see, we're supposed to be at a more elevated state in reality. However, we're not. Despite the fact that we're higher than the animal level, we still behave. I don't want to say like animals because it's insulting to animals. We're kind of worse, okay? Because animals don't do harm except to protect their zone and to feed, which is only to stay alive. Animals don't have an intention to harm another animal. So I wouldn't like to call this an animal level. It's just degrading the animals. But we're, sick animals. So what we'd like to do is to elevate ourselves from this sick personality where we're only thinking about ourselves and elevate ourselves to the level of the creator where we completely stop thinking about ourselves and we think only of the benefit of others. And that is what a human should be. Okay. Rather, all the dresses where a man wants to receive pleasure should be garments of vessels of bestowal. That is, it is impossible to work without pleasure, but he measures his pleasures in how much he can bestow upon the king. That is, if he wishes to know how much work he receives from his work, he should not measure how much he enjoys his work, meaning how much pleasure he derives from serving the king. Rather, he should measure by actions, meaning how much he wants the king to enjoy his work. And again, once again, this is a sign of wholeness. If I think of myself in terms of receiving anything at all for what I do, it means I am not complete. Okay? This is why it doesn't matter if you're in spirituality or not. It doesn't matter if you lack something and if you're doing something so you can get something in return to fulfill yourself with, then that is an incomplete person. The work starts there. So there's not much we can do about it. We have to start with egoistic vessels. But the study should bring us to an understanding, okay, that is not where we should be or where we should be aiming for. It follows that all of his importance is in that he is serving the king. So everything I do, I want to intend. I want to intend doing it for the creator, to bestow contentment upon the creator. And that's basically all. Okay. Even if we're not there, if we think in that direction, that's also good. Because at least I'm adding some direction to what I'm doing in terms of action. Okay. Even if it's not real yet, we can still play around with the concept. We can still muck around with the idea and start to build something out of it slowly, slowly. And that is important because by going through the process, we then become like little children who want to grow up. And even if we fall in the action by making mistakes and so on, it brings us additional understanding and actually wisdom because we're learning from experience. So it's better than not doing anything at all. So as long as we're in a good environment where we can practice these things, then even if we fail and if we understand that we're still doing things egoistically and it's really not for bestowal and so on, all that clarification for us is bonus because the more mistakes I'm doing and I can see those mistakes, I have room to sharpen myself up. But if I don't see my mistakes, then obviously I have nothing to work with. Right? So failing, in fact, failing a lot is good. And it's also unavoidable. Unavoidable. Okay? Because falling and getting up is the only way we really build build a vessel, build a desire to kind of move forward, okay, to get over things. And it's also part of human nature as well. You don't really want to change things in your life until you're completely sick and tired of the state you're in. Okay, this is exactly how you will not want to move or change anything. You'll be dragging your feet, wasting your time, coming up with all kinds of excuses until you are sick and tired and fed up with the state you're in. And then you say, okay, that is enough. I'm getting out of this. That's the limit. Okay. So that is part of human nature. If by using the environment, we don't wait to get to that state and kind of get a bit of, feeling that, you know what, maybe I should put my right foot forward and do something, that is good because then you're moving forward by avoiding suffering. Okay. Excerpt number 14. If there are questions, you guys will have to let me know. Excerpt number 14. This is also from RABASH, article number 6. When should one use pride in the work? When a person engages in Torah and mitzvot, which is the wisdom of Kabbalah and correcting himself, this is the time to be in wholeness, as though the Creator has brought him close to be among the king's servants. However, one must not lie to oneself and say that he feels that he is serving the king when he does not feel this way. Therefore, how can he be grateful to the Creator for drawing him near if he does not feel it? Instead, at that time, a person should say that although he is in utter lowliness, meaning he is still immersed in self-love and still cannot do anything above reason, the Creator still gave him a thought and a desire to engage in Torah and mitzvot, and has also given him some strength to be able to overcome the spies who speak to him and poke his mind with their arguments. And still, he has some grip on spirituality. At that time, a person should pay attention to this and believe that the Creator is tending to him and guides him on the track that leads to the king's palace. Let's read that again. This is really nice. If you're going through the process in the wisdom of Kabbalah, everything you read should resonate with what you're going through in terms of feelings, understanding, and even in terms of confusion too. Even like when you're completely confused and you have no freaking idea what's going on, then the writing's kind of like, whoa, that's what I'm going through. So if you're doing the work, every little sentence here, every little word can really lighten up a few things, light bulbs in your mind, as to clarify what's going on with you. When a person engages in Torah and mitzvot, this is the time to be in wholeness, as though the Creator has brought him close to be among the king's servants. So this is something that requires preparation. All right. So when we come to the study, before the study, a person needs to prepare himself or herself and think and contemplate about the importance of what he's doing as to the meaning of life. Without the preparation, you don't really feel like you're getting something from the lesson. So it becomes like a chore, like a regular thing you're doing for the day. And then it'll turn into some kind of cultural activity, like religious deeds, like they do in religions. They come and go, they come and go. Nobody knows why they're coming and going, but everybody's coming and going. Nobody's idea what's going to happen. Okay. It's just this thing. We're coming and going, wishful thinking. Hopefully everything's going to be just fine. Okay. When in fact it won't be. So before we come to the study, a person really needs to prepare oneself as to why I'm studying, what do I want? And then when you come to the study, then the things you read should kind of like say, whoa, that's cool. That's what I'm going through. That's how things are. Wow, that was confusing. And now I got some answers from this. So now I need to treat the state I'm in like this, or I need to approach the situation I'm in like this, rather than all this, I don't know, complaining and jumping up and down and moaning and whinging kind of stuff. Okay. So the study should bring us the mind to evaluate the things that I should be going through, and if I am going through something, why and what to do with them. So this is why we should be, during the study, feel this wholeness, that we're in a process. We're going through things, and that the Creator has brought him close to be among the king's servants. Now, when we prepare and we get into the study and we're beginning to feel that the study is really giving us clarification, then we can feel this closeness. Okay, a lot of the times students say, well, I don't feel the Creator. Well, it's not going to happen overnight for a start. Okay, but the second thing is the proper engagement allows you to feel what you need to get from the study. All right, so this proper engagement in the lesson, the proper engagement in the work, in the connection with the friends, the proper approach, that allows you to get some feedback which is relevant, okay, which is relevant to your progress. Then you can feel that kind of wholeness in the study because it starts to make sense. All of a sudden, these light bulbs are going on. However, one must not lie to oneself and say that he feels that he's serving the king when he does not feel this way. All right, so I can't lie to myself if I'm feeling bad and whinging all the time. All right, so no whinging, no complaining. Instead, I should be looking for, if I am complaining, I should ask myself, well, why am I complaining? That's also a question, right? We don't want to just bury things in the sand, or we don't want to bury our heads in the sand. If I'm not happy with a situation, if I'm feeling, I don't know, heavy, no desire, not motivated, don't want to do anything. Okay, okay, fine. Well, let's get into that as well. Okay, because that also needs clarification. We also need to go through such states to re-importantize, is there such a word? Re-importantize the importance of the goal. Okay, so I want to re kind of renew the importance of the goal. And I should renew for myself, why am I doing this study? Why am I doing the things I'm doing? A lot of the times we feel heavy because we've lost clarification as to what we want to obtain in life. And when all that's like blurry and you're feeling like you're hanging in the air, you got nothing to stand on, you got nothing to hold on to, and everything seems like days are going by like some kind of a dream in La La Land, and you got no sensation of anything. You feel like a piece of wood, right? No feelings, nothing at all. Then a person should sit down, take a notebook, open up a fresh page, and write to him or herself, what am I going through? And how am I going to get out of this state? How am I going to renew myself? How am I going to push myself? How am I going to integrate myself to the environment again to get some juice so I can push a little bit more? And this clarification is very important. And if you're lazy in that clarification, you will flunk it. Okay, you will. Because in our work, one thing we cannot be lazy about is always to be sharp about our inner work. Because our work is not like religions where they go and do physical deeds and we can forget it afterwards. Inner work, inner scrutiny, inner contemplation requires us to clarify what we're going through, what we should do about it, and so on. This is a very good thing to do and a really good habit you should build because it allows you, this clarification will allow you to go above the feeling rather than being stuck in that swamp of, hey, I'm feeling bad now. Okay. So if you want to get out of it, you got to clarify with your mind the state you're in and how you're going to get out of it. Okay. And that will also help in getting you out of that state as well. Okay. So this clarification, we shouldn't shy about it. We shouldn't be lazy about it. We shouldn't just go off to sleep, okay, because we want to forget about it, which I often hear friends say. Okay, just go and sleep and forget about it. And sleeping is also good, don't get me wrong, okay? But you have to understand, we have to come to a state sooner or later. Sooner or later, we have to face reality in life, don't we? So this clarification is important. Therefore, how can he be grateful to the Creator for drawing him near if he does not feel it? Instead, at that time, a person should say that although he is in utter lowliness, meaning he is still immersed in self-love and still cannot do anything above reason, the Creator still gave him a thought and a desire to engage in Torah and mitzvot, and has also given him some strength to be able to overcome the spies who speak to him and poke his mind with their arguments, and still he has some grip on spirituality. Okay, this is also called being a part of the habit. If I constantly, habitually as well, because sometimes you can do all the inner work and the clarification, which is fine, and sometimes you're just not capable of doing it. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. Okay. But even if you get to the study and the lesson, it's a sign that the Creator is holding us. Why? Because despite the fact that I'm feeling heavy and I have no desire at all, zero motivation, no can do attitude, okay, completely no can do, okay, don't want to, and I am not going to do that kind of an attitude, all right? However, even in that kind of an attitude, if the Creator brings a person to a lesson, that is already a sign that somebody is holding your hand and dragging you along to school. Mm. So that should also be appreciated. A lot of the times, we don't appreciate the help we get from the Creator. We just don't. And it is unbecoming of us, like he said in item 13. We really should, we should just think about the state we're in. When we have 8 billion people on the planet running around for all kinds of things in life, and everybody knows they're going to end up dead, okay? But still, the person doesn't think about the day they're going to die, right? Because he thinks he's going to live forever chasing his desires. I mean, that's just like nuts. But he is crazy. But from all those people, imagine we have this idea that life has a purpose, and it is to raise man to a higher level of perception. And despite the fact that I've got no desire for it right now, somebody is holding my hand and pulling me forward. And we really need to appreciate how the Creator is helping us out. Really. At that time, a person should pay attention to this and believe that the Creator is tending to him and guides him on the track that leads to the king's palace. Okay, if we value that situation, that the Creator, despite the fact that I have no desire, still held my hand and brought me, it is a kind of confidence boosting event, which I should note. As Kabbalists always say, the Creator never leaves anybody. People leave the Creator, but the Creator does not. So if we kind of just renew our attitude to the Creator, then it'll work wonders. All right. Okay. Excerpt number 15. This is also from Rabash, article number 42. Serve the Creator with joy. The Zohar asks, it's written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted. A servant of the Creator whose intention is to bestow should be happy when he's serving the king. If he has no joy during this work, it is a sign that he lacks appreciation of the greatness of the king. Therefore, if one sees that he has no joy, he should make amendments. Meaning, think about the greatness of the king. If he still does not feel, he should pray to the Creator to open his eyes and heart to feel the greatness of the Creator. Here, the two discernments develop. One, he should regret not having a sensation of the greatness of the king. Two, he should be happy that his regrets are about spirituality and not like the rest of the people whose regrets are only in order to receive. We should know who it is who gave us the awareness that our regrets should be over spirituality. And we should be happy that the Creator has sent us thoughts of spiritual deficiency, which in itself is regarded as the salvation of the Creator. For this reason, we should be happy. Let's read that again. So these are like jewels in the crown if you get in the message, right? The Zohar asks, it's written, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted. A servant of the Creator whose intention is to bestow should be happy when he's serving the king. So if he has no joy during this work, it's a sign that he lacks appreciation of the greatness of the king. Okay, so we have a bit of a dilemma here. On the one hand, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted, so I have to have a broken heart, it seems like. Okay, it seems like I need to have a broken heart. On the other hand, should be happy when he's serving the king, because if he has no joy during the work, it's a sign that he lacks appreciation of the greatness of the king. So Rabash, once again, is giving us a contradiction, which we need to reconcile. Therefore, if one sees that he has no joy, he should make amendments, meaning think about the greatness of the king. I see this comes back to going back and thinking to myself, thinking about the greatness of the king. What could that possibly be? If he still does not feel, he should pray to the Creator to open his eyes and heart to feel the greatness of the Creator. So if I'm failing, then I need help. So all of this clarification, as you can see, all of this thinking process that this inner work we do in the wisdom of Kabbalah, allows a person to develop this proper desire, the proper demand to be this higher person. Here, the two discernments develop. One, he should regret not having a sensation of the greatness of the king. Two, he should be happy that his regrets are about spirituality and not like the rest of the people whose regrets are only in order to receive. Okay, so these are the things I should be coming to. Okay, so if I'm thinking about the state I'm going through, on the one hand, I'm brokenhearted, I don't know what to do, or I'm confused. Okay, lacking desire, unmotivated, whatever, it doesn't really matter what we're going through. The important thing is to discern what I'm going through, to put some thought behind the state I'm in and how to get out of that state. What should be guiding me? What should be the action that I should be doing if I find myself in this situation? Here, the two discernments develop. Let's read this again. So if I'm thinking to myself, okay, that I'm not feeling happy with the situation I'm in, I should regret not having a sensation of the greatness of the king. And which means, what does that mean? It means that I'm not in bestowal. Okay, so I'm obviously lacking an ability. The second thing is he should be happy that his regrets are about spirituality and not like the rest of the people whose regrets are only in order to receive. So my clarification, okay, should be just at that point. That's what he's talking about. He says, listen, your clarification about your regret should only be about your lacking spiritual ability and not lacking anything else which belongs to this world. Okay. Now, many times students make a misjudgment on this. Again, my life's going pretty bad. Everything is bad. What about me? What about my work? What about my career? How's me? Okay. If you keep, that's, if we go down that lane, okay, it's just not going to pan out because I'm trying to go that way, but I'm steering the other way. You see what I mean? Like I'm trying to go straight, but I'm just putting the steering wheel. I'm looking that way, but I'm going that way. Okay, so it's bound to crash. Okay, it's bound to crash. So I have to kind of pinpoint my desire, my intention, and all my feelings that I'm going through right now. I've got to like pinpoint it, direct it very, very correctly. And so I don't sway and I don't get bogged down with all these other things in life. Okay, because the rest of humanity, they're all trying to find a way out with beliefs and all kinds of religions and praying in their religions to kind of get out of their worldly problems. You'll get stuck into the same thing if you study spirituality or the wisdom of Kabbalah in the same way. Okay. So we need to be really sharp and clarify for ourselves the perspective of um, the clarification is really important. Okay. We should know who it is who gave us the awareness that our regrets should be over spirituality. And we should be happy that the Creator has sent us thoughts of spiritual deficiency, which in itself is regarded as the salvation of the Creator. For this reason, we should be happy. Right? So why should I be happy? My world is upside down and completely wrecked, but I'm in spirituality. Sounds good to me. Okay, so that is the happiness. So the happiness needs to be related to the fact that I've got some spiritual inclination which can take me and lead me to the meaning and the purpose of my life. And everything else could be falling apart, okay, and it could be, and often does, okay, but it's actually for a person to clean him or herself from all the trash of corporeality. This is why, as we study more and more the wisdom of Kabbalah, we tend to become more and more minimalistic in life. It's not that because we don't want things, it's just that we're kind of like growing out of things. Okay. So all of this clarification is important and they're very, very useful if I direct them to the goal and if I leave my corporeal disasters out of my spiritual clarifications. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to mix everything together and it's just going to be a bad soup. Okay. If you're going to make a pumpkin soup, make it with pumpkin. Don't put all the vegetables in the fridge right now to do some kind of a cocktail, and it's just going to turn into a pumpkin mess. And the same kind of thing here. I need to pick those clarifications, put them aside, and say, well, these are spiritual things I need to work with. And I need to work with them in a proper direction, which is directed to the goal. And with the corporeal stuff, I also select them. And I say, well, these are corporeal things. I'm going to deal with them as corporeal reality requires of me to. I'm not trashing my corporeal life in any way. I'm not dumping it in the bin. I'm just separating the two. And if I separate the two properly, I'll have a good balance. But if I keep mixing them up, I'm going to keep screaming at the creator about why you're doing this to me and why you're doing that to me. And that is just a nuisance. It will be a waste of time. All right. So you got to shoot right. We're in 16, right? Am I correct? We're on 16. Okay. So let's read number 16. This is from RABASH, article number 12. These candles are sacred. The most important is the prayer. That is, one must pray to the Creator to help him go above reason. Meaning that the work should be with gladness, as though he has already been rewarded with the reason of holiness, and what joy he would feel then. Likewise, he should ask the Creator to give him this power so he can go above the reason of the body. In other words, although the body does not agree to this work in order to bestow, he asks the Creator to be able to work with gladness, as is suitable for one who serves a great king. He does not ask the Creator to show the greatness of the Creator, and then he will work gladly. Rather, he wants the Creator to give him joy in the work of above reason, that it will be as important to a person as if he already has reason. All right, so let's go over this double. Excerpt number 16 again. The most important is the prayer. Why? Because we're designed to receive. And the whole idea is to receive the right thing from the Creator. So if I want the right thing, which is the power to bestow, the ability to bestow, then I will get it. Because we're designed to receive, we can't do anything else. Our prayer is actually bestowal to the Creator, if you think about it. Okay, why? Because the Creator wants to bestow. Okay, but we don't give kids, things that are not good for them. We don't. So the Creator is not going to give us everything we ask for, is it? It's just not rational. We don't do that with kids, so he's not going to do it with us. So crying over lollipops when you're 27 or 30 is just, like the Creator is thinking, nah, you know what? It's just not the right thing to ask your mum, is it? Okay. So we need a new attitude. As we're growing in spirituality, I need to sharpen up what I want from the Creator. That's a prayer. And this is why all this inner clarification and scrutiny is an absolute necessity. I must take the time to think about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what I want, and despite the fact that I may not have any desire for it, why this is the most important thing. If I don't think, clarify, if I don't talk with the friends about this either, it's not a good thing. As a 10, we should be sitting down and thinking and talking about why this is the most important thing, despite the fact that half the time, or more than half the time, we have no desire for this at all and have absolutely no inclination to connect, to talk, to even look at each other in the face. Absolutely don't want it. No, no, no. But we have to sit down and we really have to do this. And this is an important thing for the whole 10 too. If you don't sit down and talk about what you all want and how you really need to get there, and you need the Creator's help because nobody's feeling like they want to do this, then that is really, really powerful, and it really attracts the light that returns us to the good. It's the surrounding light that will work on us because we're really literally pushing our limits to do something against our nature together knowing it's complete failure, but still wanting with some kind of act to get help from the Creator, it will bring us help. It will give us the strength to move on. Because sitting together, talking with the friends about these things, build inside of us the importance. And this important thing is the prayer. We need help. And the more we think about the situation we're in, and the more we talk about it, this need for help becomes more obvious. It becomes obvious that I need help. So what could be more obvious than needing help to attain something that is beyond me? And once you come to that, then the prayer starts to settle in, because then you start to think a bit more clearly about what exactly you want, because you inside you got all these questions coming up, and in the 10 you're like clarifying it, talking about it, discerning it. One must pray to the Creator to help him go above reason, meaning that the work should be with gladness, as though he has already been rewarded with the reason of holiness, and what joy he would feel then. So this needs to be where we need to get to as we work, as we do the inner work individually and in the 10, also in the group, every lesson, okay, every workshop. It should kind of, despite the fact that we're feeling really against it and we've got no real inclination to take a step forward, still coming, doing something, anything brings us help. And then normally what will happen is this. Look, you'll not want to do something. And if you are aware that you don't want to do it, okay, you're fully aware. Okay, on the one hand, on the one hand, you got to do something. On the other hand, you just know, okay, you don't want to do it. Okay, but specifically then, if you take one step forward, the rest of the steps come from the Creator, because you just get this push to do it. So the important thing is, like with kids, you're waiting for them to take that first step as they're walking, right? And that's it, because once they take that step, you got them by the hand, and the rest is history. And that is how it is with all the actions in the group. When we don't have the strength, the power, and you're dragging your feet along, but because you're doing your inner work, you you remember the process you're going through. And this is the beauty about the inner work. Because if you set some time aside for it during the day and you remember it, then you've got power to push through. And then the Creator will help out. And then joy will come afterwards. Joy only comes after you get it done. It's just like, oh, I got it done. I didn't want to get it done, but hey, it worked out. Then joy comes through. So by involving the Creator in the process, okay, then some joy can be felt. Okay. And then you can be thankful as well, because at the end of it, then you can thank the Creator for getting the power to do something. So then you've got something you did against your desire with the help of the Creator, with some push and pull from Him, which allowed you to get the job done, which brought you some joy, and now will bring you gratefulness. Okay. And then slowly, you'll begin to see that you're getting help all the time. It's about being conscious of the things you're going through. And this is why you should set aside every day time for your inner work. Okay? So you can constantly remember why, how, what am I going through? What I need to do? What's my goal? What am I feeling now? What I need to do with this feeling now? And so on. Excerpt number 17. This is from Baal Islam, letter number 42. It's an allegory about a man who walks along the way and sees a lovely garden. He hears a voice calling him, coming from the king who is walking in the garden. Excited, he jumps the fence in one leap and is inside the garden. For all his excitement and rush, he does not feel that he's walking in front of the king, and the king is near him, strolling behind him. So he walks and thanks and praises the king with all his might, aiming to prepare himself to meet the king. He does not notice whatsoever that the king is next to him. But all of a sudden, he turns his face and sees the king right next to him. Naturally, he's overjoyed. He begins to follow the king, praising and glorifying as much as he can. The king in front of him, and he behind the king. So they walk and stroll up to the gate. The man walks out the garden and returns to his initial place, while the king remains in the garden and locks the gate. When the man sees that he has been separated and the king is not with him, he begins to look for the gate through which he came out when the king was in front of him. But there is no such gate at all, but only as he came in the first time, when he was walking in front of the king, and the king was behind him without his noticing. So it should be now, but it requires great craftsmanship. This is a deep allegory, and I will not dare to interpret it, but we should all think about it. All right, we should all think about how to jump that fence and meet the Creator. Right, yeah, we'll call it a night. And next week, hope we have questions. I'm sorry. Nobody said anything to me about questions. Ingrid's asking, hello, what helps one get closer to the group? Well, the light that reforms. The Creator helps. When we say the light, it's always the Creator. But I have to want it from the Creator. I understand I don't want to, sometimes anyway. Sometimes we feel we don't want to. We just don't want it. And if we ask the Creator, really say, look, I want to do something right. Give me a hand here. And then we can get some help. And building a tight connection with the group. Building the importance of the goal is important. This is why coming together with the 10 and talking about is really important, because it connects us to a common goal. So if we all think about and talk about what we want to get in life, it kind of like brings us together and say, we're a team and we need to win this championship. And this is the most important thing for us right now. And then we can feel more responsible to the group. But if we're hanging out on our own without the friends and nobody's participating, it's a lost cause. It really is. So it's really important to build this connection within the group. Ingrid's asking again, why does one feel as a failure in material, family work, etc., world when dealing with spirituality? It cleans us up a little bit. It helps us to clarify what's more important and what isn't. It also shows us what's in our hand and what isn't. It also helps me balance what I should be doing and what I should be engaging, and how to balance my corporeality and my spirituality. One without the other cannot happen. If I don't have a balanced life in my corporeality, then my spirituality cannot balance out. This is why we need work, family, kids, all kinds of things that are seemingly problematic in the 21st century. Having kids, having a partner, a spouse. I mean, like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Well, you want extra problems for yourself? But no, it's actually a healthier way to live. It's a more balanced way to live. Okay? An abnormal way to live is to be alone. So even if you've got a relationship and it's got bumps, and they all have bumps, okay? It's always a bumpy road there. But still, at the end of the day, you learn to manage things. And with spirituality, you learn to manage things, from a higher perspective. It builds patience and So all of these things in life are important, but we're not losers at all. We feel like losers, but we're not. Our objective in life is different. Our objective in life is different. That's why when we look around, we see people in corporate reality, they're doing everything, work, business, whatever, they're having a good corporeal life, they're making money or they're doing everything nice and so on, going on holidays and stuff and whatever. And we feel like we're lacking a lot of stuff. But, what are they really going for in life? And what am I going for in life? That's the question. So if you take it from that perspective, who's the loser? I have a limited number of days in life. I have no idea when I'm going to end up dead. Could be right now, just right now. Or it could be in 20 years. For the next 20 years, my corporeal life could be chaotic. Okay, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow either. I don't know when I'm going to die, and I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. My life can turn upside down just like that. So we don't know. So who's more crazy? A person who's running around and chasing all kinds of things, not knowing what could possibly happen, or a person who's thinking, there's a meaning to life and I'm going for it. And even if I don't make it, at least I've got a good reason to go for it. Because what does life have to offer me except death? And even if I get what I want in life, you guys know, I know, the pleasure cancels the desire. We're left with a big minus. You can be rich. What will you get pleasure from? You have everything in life. You have everything in life. You get pleasure from nothing. You get pleasure only if you're hungry. That's how it is. But you got no hunger. Uh, you're just eating for the hell of it. Just extra calories, which you need to burn with an extra hour of workout tomorrow. And that's another painful situation. So you're just adding more and more to your pain by trying to get more and more. It's crazy. So who's crazy? We or them? It's all a matter of clarification. That's all. All right. So this is why clarifying what you are aiming for in life is the most critical thing in anything. Right. Having said that, we're going to end this evening. Or have a nice day. Have a nice night. All the best. We'll get preparation ready for next week as well. We'll get prepared for the Congress in February, and we'll hope to see you all there. All the best. Bye-bye.